fell on one guy. And I'm gonna go with the guy that got piled on.
So
and
wait
Merlin's
a
getting
second.
piled on.
This is there's a historical moment here. MX is saying that he is defending Frank Mervan in some way, which is very odd because you have been almost entirely critical of him for years now. It's kind of funny.
Well,
You make me
McDermott
laugh.
gave me my shot spotter. McDermott gave me my shot spotter. We took a picture together.
And by the way, I noticed that some of your most popular posts are when you put me in a compromising position.
I forget. You know what? I
don't understand how you think that you could make posts that are funny, but make me look like a fool, and people comment on it and they like it. It's one of your, and then you call in like we're good buddies. How could that happen?
Because you're always going to remember I saved your life back in 1986. I got to go, man.
Stop. You got to go. Is right. All right, Adriana, how are you? Thank you. Get this Jamoke off the air. He's a liar, too. He says he has 16-inch biceps at his age. And maybe he does, but they're not.
You're like, I choose to not believe.
Exactly. I'm a non-believer in his 16-inch biceps. Hey, gosh, you were a topic of the conversation already. Somebody said something, oh, she doesn't understand this and doesn't understand that. So you're making an impression. How does that sound?
Good.
All right. I'm glad you're here. I was waiting for you to come so that I could play the spots, which I don't. You have. Am I on YouTube right now?
I fixed it this morning, so once we go to a break, I'm going to switch over to the streams.
All right, so I wasn't on YouTube.
No, you were not on YouTube, and one of the, like in the huddle broadcast, one of them was already played. So I'm guessing when you guys were testing if it would go live, you guys used the one for today.
Oh, God. I hope not, because I played 8 hours of music. You're going to have to wipe that off of the YouTube page.
I don't think it's on there. I'm going to check, but if it is, we'll take it down.
All right, just explain to people that if they go to YouTube, they type in WJOB 1230, they can get to this broadcast right now.
Yep,
correct?
So the only thing that's kind of stumping people is when you go onto YouTube, it's not going to show up right then and there, unless we are live. If you want to look at past broadcasts, you go into live, and then you have to scroll down a little bit because it shows the programmed ones before the past ones. So from there, you go there, or you go into playlists, and everybody has their own separate playlists that they have, and that's where they are all going to be archived.
All right. Good enough. I don't understand anything of what you just said, but we are now a YouTube channel. Please like us, and then you'll get a little, if you subscribe, you'll get a little ding on your YouTube thing that we are live at that point. All right, take a short break, and how are you going to play a spot?
Don't I just go right here, or do I got to go to this computer?
Nope, you're good. All right, we're as described earlier, we're putting in a brand new system. All right, I'll be right back on the voice and face of the region.
Whoop, hold on.
Else wants to find out about you, and we will be having Adriana Alvarez highlighted on the Limb Walkers podcast right around 10 o'clock, maybe a little bit, 10:05 or something like that. And then Jim Weezer comes in, and at about 10:35, we should be recording that podcast. Now, I don't know if Bob Starkey's coming with him on this one, but Weezer and Starkey have talked, and they want to do kind of a Democrat-Republican thing. So I don't know if that's a separate podcast or what. But I think it's just me and Weezer at 10:35. So I'll be on the air till about 11:15 today. And the podcast is and the radio is basically run here by Adriana Alvarez. And if you have any issues, I know Tom Schmidt of Cherville, thank you for answering his question yesterday. He had a technical question. You would just go to Adriana, ADR, 2 N's, at WJOB1230.com, and she'll answer any questions as we transition out of JED TV. JED TV Sports Network will only be on the app. Who knows? At one time we will no longer have news talk. It'll just be sports. And part of it is you got to think about this. Look at what is going on social media right now. And right now we're talking about Braun and Rokita going after people's social media posts and people putting up posts either liking or hating on Charlie Kirk and all of the discussion that's going on social media, good or bad. And we are distancing our sports network from that. And some of the brands have told us, hey, man, we love being on it, but, we just want to be on the sports and where things are good. And you got to understand that. And we have understood it and we listened. So the talk will go to YouTube where a lot of talk that is good and bad goes on. But anyways, let's take a look at the traffic. We have had a major accident that looks like it's been cleared. Let's start with that. And that is on the Indiana Toll Road at 5:36 this morning, I believe. A FedEx truck was going westbound and it got caught up. Can you go to my email? And don't show my email, but show the picture of the truck. There it is. The truck is caught on the center divider. And it's a concrete divider. I don't know how that thing didn't turn over. Not that one. Yeah, there you go.
The traffic
yeah, there it is. I mean, how does that thing not fall on it?
I think it's like caught in between this wheel here, and that's what's stopping it from.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful picture. Thanks to Paul Goddard. Please go to Region News Source and like his page, and you'll get dinged when stuff like this happens. And it looks like it's been cleared. Now that was wasn't even 2 hours ago that happened. So if they got the little crane thing that I think WAFCO has one, and then there's another company that has one that lifts the FedEx truck off the barrier, and then they were able to maybe get it onto, maybe tow it some way. But right now on the Indiana Toll Road, you can go either way. It looks like they're both open in both directions. Now, it may be if you're going eastbound, it's only one lane, but there's not that much traffic going eastbound at that point. So looks like it's not really backed up that much at all anymore, east or westbound on the toll road. 294 around the city looks pretty good. Got a little bit of a slowdown up in Bridgeview, Willow Springs area, but nothing major. 80 going east and west looks good. The Bishop Ford is relatively light, but the Dan Ryan is not. You're going to think, oh, wow, nice ride to work. And then at 103rd, it starts getting stop and go all the way to Jane Byrne. Like I said, the Skyway and the toll road are all moving along well. So is the Borman and I-65. With weather, Adriana Alvarez.
Currently, right now, at the Shock and Vansville Studios, it is 63 degrees. Today, we're seeing highs of 72 degrees, lows of 54 degrees. Stray shower in the morning. Otherwise, we're having some breezy and cloudy weather. Moving forward into the rest of the weekend, we're seeing highs of 80s and lows of 50s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're just going to see a lot of sunshine, not a lot of rain. We won't see any rain for a little while, maybe not until next Saturday.
So Sam and Peter and Mott Hanley are in Indian. Do I have a guest?
No.
No? Is that for the 8 o'clock show? Can you find out? I don't know. I may have forgotten to put somebody in there, so that would be the first time. But Sam and Peter pitched yesterday at Rally Innovation. I have no idea how it went or anything. They're kind of doing it themselves. So I've had a couple of people said, hey, can you play their pitch? And I can't do that because I did not know where it was or anything. And I just said, forget it, they'll deal with it. But Rally Innovation is kind of the culmination of venture capitalism in the middle of the country. And somehow we were chosen to be one of the top 5 in sports tech of people submitting from around the world. And we were an alternate, and somebody couldn't come from somewhere far away. So we got chosen, and they got to pitch their thing down there. Just as importantly, we had a booth at Rally Innovation, which costs a lot of money. And Sam and Peter got to go down there for free, and so did Mont. And they're all down there. I have no idea how it went. I do know that Governor Braun gave a speech about innovation and entrepreneurialism. And I just got to tell you this, that Adriana, yesterday, you weren't here, but I came on with Tom Dabberton, and some guy called in, and I started arguing with him, and I'm not even really sure why. But I think it kind of represents a little bit my disappointment about this area. In other words, obviously, we've been going down to Indy for a lot. I think Peter and I went down 2 or 3 times in a month, and then Sam and Peter are down there. And the openness towards innovation and sports streaming and the new technologies is just an amazing thing. But then I go around here in the region, and I'm like, man, I can't, people that are really rich and have made money off the backs of the region for a long time. I'm like, hey, you want to maybe put in on this, maybe make a bunch of money or something? And the response has been very muted. But when we go to Indy, they're like, hey, man, we want to be part of your thing, but you might have to move down here. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. So we have built a pipeline up to the center of our state. And there is an entirely open attitude toward innovation and technology that was not here. So I'm on the air yesterday, and Dabberton says, hey, Jed, I want to tell you about this presentation I've given. It's called the consistency theory. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he says, well, it is a theory that people in the region are kind of against technology and computers and advancement because we have a history of when technology and advancement came into the mills and the refineries, everybody lost their job. So there's this kind of, we're against it. And I'm like, wow, that kind of makes a lot of sense. And it came right then and there. To me, it just like kind of blew up. Like we're going down there every couple of weeks for one thing or another. But around here, it's like, we're like flim-flam men or something, and I just don't get it. But anyway, I want to say thank you to Dabberton for that, because very rarely does something just come to my mind. As with David, recent caller, if you guys are following the story, there's 2 region teachers now that have lost their jobs or have quit their jobs or whatever over social media posts about Charlie Kirk. And the governor of our state and the attorney general have both come out, or the governor has directed school superintendents to look at teachers' social media posts and see if there's anything objectionable about Kirk. I don't know what happens if they find something objectionable about something else. But one of the callers, David, who is pretty open about his autism, says, well, does that mean that the teacher should start looking at the parents' posts of the kids that are in the school? And I'm like, well, I'll be, Dave. I don't know. That's a gosh darn good question. Hey, let's take some phone calls. 219-845-1100. Hey, you're on the air.
Why, good morning, Jed. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, my gosh.
Calling in.
This, we're going to, can we make sure we play this interview? This is Steve Stanek calling from Arizona. Steve, you went to the Charlie Kirk Memorial. Tell us about it.
You know what? It was really the most sombering thing. I got there at about probably almost 4 a.m. The lines were so big. I was able to finally get in. The most unique thing about it was the fact that there was nobody talking politically about any other side. It was all about a moment of a gentleman who was just trying to spread the word of goodness and really just, and I saw him speak before in Arizona, and he was just really, he was almost like a disciple. And I know that people got 2 sides of who this guy was, but I wish, Jed, you had the opportunity to have him on your radio station. You'd have been so impressed. But what a sight to see. It was so humbling. And you know what? His assassination, if you say, it really affected me for like 3 days. It was just, it was something. I mean, it was great to see all the people that come to honor him, but it was so overwhelming to see how many people came peacefully, how many people came. I was listening to people in the crowd. More people said, you know what? I'm going to start going to church on Sunday. I'm going to try to be a better person. And I mean, this guy was bringing a message, and it was just, I don't know why somebody had to silence him, but you know, in the long run, his wife was so amazing when she had said, you know what? I forgive the guy that killed my husband. Wow, that was so powerful.
Stanek, how do you feel about her saying that?
You know what? I really, you know, she believes in the Bible. She believes there is a Savior. She believes there's a God. And I felt that in her. And there is peace knowing that if you have faith and, you know, that he was doing the Lord's work. I don't care what anybody says, but I've watched him. I've been around him. I really felt that she meant that. I didn't see any vengeance in her saying that. It was that she really is, she's so admired by her husband, so thoughtful of what he was teaching, that she believed, and she believes what he was teaching, that, you know what, somehow she had found inner peace through her faith. But the memories, and it may take a long time to heal, that we may never see, but it was something to see. I equated that with almost the JFK assassination. And I think you're going to go down a time, people are going to say, where were you when Charlie Cook was assassinated? And that was like the feel I got of that day. The whole time that I was there, I saw Beck drive by in a car going in, and everybody was just like, the look on everybody's face, and there was as many people leaving that were coming in because they couldn't get in. It was just a sight to see. And I met him before in Arizona, and you know, what a tremendous guy. And somehow the media spins that in two different directions. It became kind of like your show, Jed. When you say something, somebody interprets it different. And if you didn't like what the guy said, you know what, just go about your business. And he was so open and debatable. And, you know, never a harsh word like, here's the mic, I'll debate you. And what he really wanted, what I got from his messages, you know what, he worked with African-American people, despite what has been said, that his foundation is, you know what, it starts at home. We have to have a loving family. Father has to be involved. He had started so many programs to get inner city kids and people off of drugs. His wife is doing tremendous things in New York, and I think his message is getting stronger. And what had happened to him is you can see and you could feel it in the crowd that this message is not over and it's still going to continue onward. So I was really uplifted. It made me look back at myself and say to myself, okay, what can I do to be a Charlie Cook? What can I do to make it a better, be a better neighbor, to be a better American, to be a better person? And most importantly is, you know what, I think his message was, we have to bring faith back into the United States.
We're talking to Steve Stanek, a former Hammond fireman, well-known Republican around here, with my cousin Dwayne for a lot of times. And I think that when Dwayne lost, Stanek paid the price of being a Republican, and ultimately settled in Arizona, where I have visited Steve, and I know that you're very happy out there. Steve, what I'm interested in is, what was the verve of the crowd? I mean, they were talking 100,000 people in and around. What was the feel?
You know, it felt of a great loss. It was almost as if, you know, I equated to like the president was assassinated, like the JFK. It was that feel. And, you know, I noticed a lot of people, I myself thought about it, and, you know, it's about forgiveness, Jim. You know, we have to, in order to strive to go forward. And like you said, you know, when Dwayne lost, things that happened, but you know what? I forgave everybody, anything that happened to me, because, you know, you cannot move forward unless you forgive. And I felt that in a crowd, that it was like, I didn't feel that there was always like, oh, man, the Democrats did this. It was this, it was that. It was regardless of, and there was some spin on it. And I think Trump kind of went that way a little bit with it. I mean, I don't know why that he had to make it a little bit more political, but I'm sure he felt the loss, and I can't speak for everybody, but I just felt that people are waking up and realizing that, you know what, we all have to change. We have to stop the divide, and we have to come together to make this a better place for everybody to live. And it starts with each individual. And instead of going out looking for the wrong things, and it's easy to find hate in people, it's easy to find things wrong with people. Why don't we start looking for goodness in people and just figuring out, you know what, collectively together, we cannot move forward unless we work together.
He's Steve Stanek. Here's what we're going to do. Adriana, first of all, Stanek is a good candidate for you-know-what. Even though he's in Arizona, he's a good candidate to do your own podcast, Safety Steve, and I think we could just call it that, Safety Steve.
Absolutely.
I know I talked to him outside of this, and I think that you would be a good candidate to tell that message. And when Adriana's got 16 podcasts, and she's looking for original ideas and original people and I know that you would be able to get great interviews and so forth. So I'm not going to go into it, but I've thought about it before. I'm like, who do I know would fill Adriana's podcast slate? She wants to get to 24. You're definitely up there. Would you entertain talking to her?
Oh, absolutely, Jed. I'd be honored to.
All right, good enough. Let's leave it at that. Steve, thanks for calling it. Just sum up about the Charlie Kirk thing for people. Your main observation of the whole day.
It's the message that I got was that we got to continue on being Charlie Cooks. People, they were just so in thought. And I want to say that the message that I got, more people around said, you know what? We have to bring Jesus Christ back into our lives. We have to bring him back into, I looked at it and I got to feel people thought this was like the 13th apostle, because all he was trying to do was just teach people the way of life. And you know what? I gathered from the things that I had heard people said that he died a peaceful man. He died knowing this was going to happen to him. And the message that I feel is that, you know what? Find forgiveness, forgive people that have done wrong to you, and move forward, and you'll be a better person. And that message I got was, through Charlie Cook, let's just all be better people.
He's Steve Stanek. Maybe you'll be hearing more from him. Steve, thanks for calling in.
Have a good day, my good friend.
All right, thanks a lot. We're going to take a break. I'll tell you what, Adriana, maybe you and I could come back for a little segment. We don't have a show after North Township.
Yeah, that's what I realized. I was like, okay, let's put that in the broadcast and all
so
that.
You made it already?
I'll make another one for your show after.
Okay, all right. So Adriana and I, we started kind of slow today, but there's plenty of things going on in the world. We'll come back around 8:15 and we'll go for, 40 minutes or so. And please join us. But what we're going to do now is we're going to skip out, Adriana and I are, and we're going to do what we do since the 1950s, make room for the North Township Trustees Show, Wicker Park, assistance. They're going to talk about all those things. I will say this, that I have been going out to Wicker Park this summer, and I'm not altogether sure I can remember a time when the facilities and the golf course have and the people have all kind of gelled together. It has been a beautiful experience. Live kind of close and spend a lot of time at Wicker Park, and it is it might be the nicest spot of land in the whole Calumet region. They'll talk about that and a bunch of other areas. So North Township Trustees Show coming up in about 3 minutes on the Voice and Face of the Region.